Hello, welcome. This is going to be a fun challenge. I've been meaning to do this for a while now. So, on the Creative Classical Guitarist, we had a challenge during November where each day of the month we had a painting and we were to write a short melody based on that painting. So, I've got 30 paintings here. I don't know if I'll get through all of them, but what I'm going to try and do is improvise a little piece based on each painting. You should see the paintings behind me, so I can kind of swap. I took a little bit of time to set this up, but I can swap between the paintings like that behind me there. So you can see each painting, and I'm going to just try and improvise and capture, the mood or something about the painting into music. So that's what's going to happen. We've had some really great little melodies and pieces for guitar. People have done some little orchestrated things during November. So we've got a range of paintings from older style paintings from the like Renaissance. We've got the Mona Lisa. We've got Monet, Impressionist paintings. We even have some members from the Creative Classical Guitarist who chipped in some of their own paintings as well. So this is doing this live partially just because it's easier to do it and there's no editing. This is really like on the spot, spontaneous, true improvisation. Improvisation and classical guitar are like, not really often associated with each other, but that's one of the goals of the Creative Classical Guitarist, is to bring back that spirit of creativity, improvisation, composing. Many composers of the past that we know were great improvisers as well. And why not do what they were doing, Why not improvise as well? And so I hope you enjoy this. This is the first painting here. This first painting is called Odilon. What is this one? Orpheus. Hang on a second. Is it by Orpheus? Odilon Redon's Orpheus. Odilon Redon's Orpheus. Now you can see I know you can't see exactly the whole painting there, but you can see most of it. So this is depicts the head of the poet and musician Orpheus, the story of the god of music, whose music carried on after his death through his lyre and head, fascinated the artist Redon, I'm not sure how to pronounce his name, who related to Orpheus's dedication to his art. The subject also aligned with Redon's broader interest in dreams and spirituality around this time, and he represented Orpheus several times throughout his career. Okay, so that's a little bit of background about the painting. I can move over a little bit and maybe you can see a little bit more of that. So I'm going to improvise a piece here. To me, this very dark, it's very sad. There's this dedication to the art, which is a pretty typical thing for artists. This kind of obsessive thing. So I think some like repetition. There is a is it the lyre or lyre? I don't know how to pronounce lyre. I think or lyre, Lyre. The instrument there. It's like a little harp, right? It's like a little harp there. So I'm thinking of that as well. So those are some of the things that are sort of coming to my mind. So So here we go. there was that little improvisation based on that painting there. Thanks, Kiem, in the chat. Yeah, let me know what you think in the chat. I really don't know what's going to happen. Like, I did not plan anything here. Literally nothing is planned. Like, it's just things, ideas will flow out. There might be some, might be some real messy or wrong notes, or like, I don't know. So this is real. Like, there's no planning in this. I mean, improvisation can have some planning, but I'm really just going off the cuff here. Look at the painting, get a feeling, get some inspiration, and then just try things. And so yeah, I mentioned some of the things like the harp. Some of the arpeggios came in, sadness, but then I wanted this modal. There's something kind of ancient, I guess, because Orpheus maybe. This kind of, so I went with a modal sort of key, E minor with like a sharp, what is it, Dorian or something, right? That sort of thing. So there's number one. We'll call it Orpheus, I guess. Orpheus's, I don't know, something, or Orpheus's Lament, or I don't know. But what do you think? Any titles? So that was the first one. Next one is called The Sea. This is actually by, how would I select a key to play? Stephen in the chat. Stephen, welcome, and welcome to CCG. It's great to have you on CCG as well. That's a good question. I mean, I know E minor is typically, it's associated with lamenting, sad. Well, a lot of minor keys are really. So in a minor key, and then I just thought E minor is quite natural for the guitar, so I naturally went there. I'll probably stick to, keys that fit the guitar quite well, quite naturally. So, but we'll see what happens. It's a little bit difficult to say exactly because it's such a spur of the moment. So I don't know. I didn't know I was going to do a mode until I started. So until I heard that first chord, and then I thought I started to hear the mode after I played the chord. So I don't know how to choose a key in advance too much. So this next one is called The Sea, and this is by the husband of one of our members, Colleen Billington. So her husband is his name's Keith, and this is a painting that he did. It's a fantastic painting, isn't it? Look at that water, fantastic. He's got a little he's written a sort of poem here. I want to read this poem. So it's a beautiful poem too. The sea is calm, unknowingly cocooning her dependence in deep blue velvet, but the moon makes her fretful, her skin now puckered and raw. The wind too is malign, spiteful, scouring like wire, shocking deep currents to act. The goading candens, I don't know what that word is, condenses, sorry, the something, so I can't quite read that word. Something condenses, she losses her mane, furring and foaming she flails, spouting, indignant, drowning, not waving. But she knows that soon the night trawler will pull the moon. Now, my vocabulary is expanding by just reading this. Now, deep in reflection, back to the heaven of daylight, and the sea can rest once more. I mean, that's just beautiful. That's so much. Like, you could just spend a lot of time just soaking that up. A beautiful poem, and I need to look up some of those words too. But I love the language, the words, the word painting depictions, the imagery, and even the way that those words roll off, come sort of the sounds that they make. A little bit. It reminds me a little bit of I think I said this, Dr. Seuss, right, where the sound of the words, the syllables, and sort of has an effect to it. So it's a beautiful painting. there's many directions you can go with water. You know, water has, you know, flowing, there's calm, there's stormy seas, right? So there's a lot of directions you can go with water. So I don't know where I'm gonna go, but I'm starting to hear something, so I'm gonna go with that. Ooh, that was a fun one. Wow. And it started to rain too, while, while I was playing that. So, wow. I had no idea where that one was going to go. And there you go. So, some shifting chords, some tambura. I really wanted to play these open strings and do the tambura as well. So, that's why I used my left hand to do that and doing the tambura with the right hand. And then the arpeggio, obviously, that's a great way to get that kind of flowing effect. So there you go. Water, ocean, the sea. We could call that. I really like that. I think I can listen. The cool thing about recording yourself doing this is you can listen back and then, you know, notate things down, write them down, and all that. So yeah, right. Yeah, it reminds. It's a bit similar to some of my recent compositions. That's probably no accident. There's certain patterns and shapes and things and harmonies that are an effect. Anyway, we're gonna get into some rain, man. Today's been like it's the first day of summer here. In Melbourne, Australia, and it's like literally like winter again. Okay, so that was number two. We've got two out of 30. The next one, this is going to be interesting. This is Stravinsky. It's called Firebird, and I'll try and move this painting around so you can see more of it. Like that stuff there. That's pretty cool. This is called Firebird, and it shows the composer Stravinsky. And if you don't know Stravinsky, he was at the forefront of modern music in the early 20th century. He wrote pieces like the Firebird Suite, and probably the most well-known is The Rite of Spring. And it's totally revolutionary sort of writing for the orchestra, really like blocks of sound, really new types of, harmonies and chords and tonalities and effects and rhythms. Often very driving rhythms. So, that's probably where I'll go with it. Don't know. Other than that, I don't know what's going to happen. So we'll see what happens. I like the way it looks like he's conducting or something, and there's some stuff sort of emerging from that. Maybe fire. So fire is pretty cool. There's lines up there, and he looks kind of like he's concentrating. I'm just getting some of these ideas for inspiration for our improvisation. So, okay, here we go. Kind of want to do a different key, all these guitaristic keys. Maybe we'll see what happens. No, I don't like that. I remember studying this, and one of the things Stravinsky does, I think it's in this piece, or it might have been in Petrushka, which is another famous one. The three big ballets that Stravinsky did were The Rite of Spring, the Firebird Suite, which is what this painting's based on, and then one called Petrushka. And I remember there was this tritone, F sharp major, C major, like superimposed on each other. So maybe I'll play around with some superimpositions of chords, I reckon. Let's see what happens with that. All right, there we go. That was my my attempt at the say juxtaposing multiple chords. I was quite happy with some of that. There was some interesting combinations of chord shapes. Chord shapes that I that were created that I probably would never normally think to try. So that's always great. When you that was part of the challenge of this, right? When you have the paintings, to go into some new directions and try certain chords or shapes or progressions or textures that we wouldn't normally try, to think outside of the box a little bit. All right, so that was our third one there, Firebird. Now that I say Firebird, I feel like something else could come. But anyway, let's go to the next one. This is Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun, which I guess is inspired by the Debussy piece for orchestra, Prelude to the Afternoon of a Faun. And this is by Leon Bakst. Leon Bakst. So quite a beautiful painting. It's kind of like a fawn-like person, sort of, right? Very whimsical. I like this kind of cloth or whatever that is it's got some interesting shapes, movement to it. So anyway, something quite impressionistic sounding for this, but then maybe a bit playful thinking, but also elegant. There's this kind of elegance to the movement. You can see it's like almost like a dancer, almost like a dancer, like a ballet dancer. So those are just some of the things that I'm thinking about. So let's see what happens. I want to avoid the key of E though, so let's try something different. there we go. That one, I was quite pleased with that one. Bringing back one of the things with improvising that what I guess when I'm happier with an improvisation is when I can find some sort of melodic theme and sort of develop it or repeat it in various ways. That sort of thing that kind of gives me satisfaction improvising. Hopefully, as for you listening, you're hearing those themes come back and something recognizable, and then you hear some development. So it helps to give the improvisation, I think, some unity and cohesion. But yeah, I like that there's this kind of progression. It's G to B minor to F sharp minor. I was hearing that melody, something like that. So I was thinking if some unusual way to harmonize it with harmony that doesn't function how we'd expect. So G major to B minor to F sharp minor, it's a little bit unusual, and then E major. So being more flexible, being more open with where chords can go, where chords can move. And then hopefully some of that sort of playful, graceful stuff I was trying to capture came across too. So that was the fourth one. Let's see how we go. The next one. This is called City on the Water. And I think this is by a member of the Creative Classical Guitarist. Let me just confirm that. I think this is Emma's painting, if I'm not mistaken. Yes, this is by Emma, who's a member of the Creative Classical Guitarist. You might have seen her, and I've posted some videos of her playing. She gave a recital not too long ago on the guitar and on the piano, actually. So this is a lovely painting here. Nice idea. City on the water. I really like the water. Look at that. That's beautiful. Beautiful effect. And then we've got the city. Kind of thinking. I mean, to me, a city brings energy and a buzz. So, but then there's the water too. So we have the water, and then we've got this buzz and energy of the city. I'm thinking of like da da dum bum bum boom bum something. I'll do drop D here, I reckon. Let me think here. We need some water. we go. That was nice. I was happy with the idea. Couldn't quite develop it. I think that would require for me writing that down and being able to sort of develop that a bit more. But I like that. I like that idea. I like that kind of rhythm, that feel, and yeah, that bit with the going into the minor and evoking the water a little bit. I think that there's some great potential for that as a piece. If I wrote it down, very difficult, very challenging to improvise and sometimes get that full, development that you want. Like, because we're doing it on the spot. It's not something, I've really studied guitar playing and learning composition, learning pieces, memorizing them and performing, that sort of thing. So doing this is a very new, it's not a very, but it's a relatively new thing. So I love doing that though. I love pushing the boundaries a little bit and seeing where things can go, and hopefully continuing to develop this aspect of improvisation. So let me know what you think in the comments. If you've just joined us, we're going through these paintings now. We've done 5. Really, another great thing about this kind of challenge is each painting, I think, brought about something quite different. So it's amazing how quickly with these different paintings, our imaginations, our creativity can be, unlocked. It can be like awakened in a way to different things. So the next painting we have here, I'll try and move this around. Kandinsky. We can see, what is that? What are all these shapes? Okay, this is quite abstract. I think this is the first abstractionist, I think, is the sort of description of this. 1925, yellow, red, blue, painted in 1925. So you can see all these abstract shapes, but I mean, they kind of make, I can see like maybe like a cat or something, or like some kind of animal, whiskers or something there. It's amazing how our brains like to do that, create meaning from things that are abstract, I guess. So when you look up the clouds, and your brains, you can see shapes. Really interesting. Really interesting. Okay, let's see how we go. So I'll improvise a little something based on this painting here. There we go. Well, it's unexpected. I was thinking of the title, red, yellow, blue. That's the title, right? Three things, three colors, and yeah, yellow, red, blue, in that order. So I was kind of thinking of three themes or three elements to come back to. So there was the one was the bend, the pitch bend, and then we had this kind of idea, and then this kind of harmonic thing, and then this high. So that's sort of playing around with those ideas, and yeah, I guess trying to be a little bit abstract, but yeah, three elements of colors. Yeah, Kiem, great observation, and I guess yeah, this sort of D sort of D. What do we call it? Dorian again. D Dorian. Second time using Dorian. All right. We've done 6. There are 30. I don't think I'm definitely not going to get to 30. So I might choose. I think I might choose now. We've got quite a number. Oh, I cannot skip this one. The famous Starry Night by Van Gogh, or Go, or however you're supposed to say his name. I think it's Gogh, Van Gogh. Yeah, absolutely beautiful. So the swirling. I think swirling is what I'm really getting from this painting. Bit of darkness. I want to try. One of the things is to avoid, just avoid like cliche. Like I don't want to be too generic, too derivative and generic. It's really difficult to avoid that. Like to avoid things that are comfortable, that your fingers like chord shapes and certain progressions, and it's such a temptation to go to those. I kind of feel like tuning this up to an F. I'm going to tune the 6th string up to an F. Yeah, I like that. right, there we go. That yeah, I was really happy with some of those ideas. You could tell because it's an improvisation. I was like lingering on something for a while, and sort of. I feel like once again, if I wrote some of those things down and composed and was able to think through things a bit more, I think I'd be quite happy with that. But as an initial seed to create a piece, that was really fun. And yeah, sometimes tuning, trying out different tunings can really get you into a different direction. Drop D. This is a sixth string up to F. So really, really cool. I was that was a great painting, to use. Um, Maybe we'll do one more. One more. To choose one. We might go. Ooh, this one's quite nice. It's kind of Egyptian sort of thing here. There's also this one, very atmospheric. Yeah, I think I might go with this one. And then I probably need to head off. So we've got this kind of mistiness, right, in the background. This is called The Wanderer. Let me just check out who this is by again. The Wanderer, Above the Sea of Fog. The Wanderer Above the Sea of Fog. Who is this one by? Caspar David Friedrich in 1818. So the fog, I like that kind of like mistiness, fogginess, and this guy's just standing, beholding this great landscape. So. there we go. I really enjoyed the tremolo. Improvising tremolo is a lot of fun and really cool, like going from this F major thing, whatever chord you want to call that, to an A major. And then at the end, I just thought, oh, shift that second finger across. You get a very, that's a great chord for like misty fogginess, you know. Once again, you know, if I go back and sort of capture some of these ideas and write them down, form compositions, I think it's giving me a lot of fuel for some pieces. So that was the goal of this challenge. You know, it's called Mellovember. So back in November, we had a painting for each day of the month. Now, how many did I do? 5, I think, or 6? No, 7. I can't remember how many I even did today. But we had 30 paintings, and that's my contribution to the challenge. I really enjoyed that. So thanks so much for joining tonight. And if you do want to, there is a link to a webinar if you'd like to learn more about chords and technique and composing. We will be doing a Christmas carol arrangement very soon on the Creative Classical Guitarist, so please, if you're part of CCG, please stay tuned for that. And I'll also post, I'd like to invite people to that outside of CCG, just we'll have a couple of sessions, but if you'd like to join us for the first session, I think it'll be really fun. We're going to look at a very quick way to arrange pieces using MuseScore. So that'll be coming up really soon. And otherwise, thanks very much, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.